Testing audio for the YouTube stream. Testing audio for the YouTube stream. Testing the audio for the YouTube stream. Testing audio for the YouTube stream.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the City of Toronto, Scarborough District Committee of Adjustment hearing. Today is Thursday, September 15, 2022, and we are now going to be beginning our afternoon session for the hearing today. Due to the COVID-19 Committee of Adjustment, public hearings are being conducted virtually by electronic means through WebEx webinar, which is an online digital platform and is being streamed onto the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. Participants who have registered in advance will be able to make the presentations to the committee using WebEx webinar, which is being moderated by city staff. Anyone wishing to view the hearing may do so by watching it on the YouTube. Participants who have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All participants will automatically be muted upon entry. When your item is called, each participant will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute your devices until you're called on to speak. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to the panelist when you are speaking to your item. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5 minutes allotted speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. Committee of Adjustment will share presentations which have been submitted in accordance with the written submissions deadline. Members of the public and applicants are not allowed to use the share screen function or any other panelist controls during a video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. Before we begin, we acknowledge the land we are meeting on is a traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Williams Treaty signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. Members, in view of the announcement of the passing of her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Canada, I would ask you to rise and observe a moment of silence in sympathy at this loss for members of the royal family and all those who will mourn throughout the Commonwealth. I now request you to rise and this moment of silence will be observed for a minute. Thank you, everyone. In accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is now called to order. In accordance with Section 45 of the Planning Act, the Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning that apply to properties, permissions to extend or alter lawful nonconforming uses, and consents to sever properties to create new lots. In terms of receiving a decision, a copy of the decision of the committee today, anyone in attendance today who wants to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on any application must submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and an email address because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body, the TLAB, will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, decisions may be appealed to the TLAB and in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal, which is the OLT. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. In terms of the hearing procedure, I will call each item in the order that it's listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or the applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, the applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions or take the matter into committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant or the agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5 minutes. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters that have been outlined in the application. The applicant or the agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to the proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if it is substantially revised to ensure that the revised application is accurate and that all those who are entitled to receive the notice of the revised application are informed of the changes. Then individuals either in support or in opposition to the application will be invited to speak. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. I just want to remind everyone that we're certainly here to listen to your concerns. However, repeating the same comments or concerns will not advance your cause. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or the agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that have been raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion, and the application will then be taken into committee for a decision. This is our afternoon session for the day, and we are dealing with items number 18 to 26. Are there any declarations of interest of panel or staff for items in this afternoon time slot? I see none from the panel, and I see none from staff as well. Thank you. Mr. Deputy Secretary Treasurer, have you received any requests for deferral for the items listed in the afternoon session?
Through the chair, there is one deferral in the afternoon session. It is for item 23, 54 FLERIMAC Road. Deferral to the October 13th Committee of Adjustment hearing due to improper notice under the Planning Act. New notice will be issued for the next hearing.
Which one is this, sorry, Colin?
Through the chair, item 23.
23, okay.
54 FLERIMAC Road.
Sure, thank you. Can I please have the applicant, Peter Jerusik, for this application? This is item 23, 54 FLERIMAC Road. Okay.
Good afternoon, committee.
Good afternoon, Peter. So it appears that an improper notice was given. There's some discrepancy between the lot areas that have been included on the public notice and the minor variance application, which constitutes improper notice. Are you familiar with this issue, and would you be okay? Well, we have to defer this application. So are you familiar with this issue or the error?
It was brought to my attention, and I'm fine with it.
Okay, all right. So members of the committee, can I please have a motion to defer this application? And that would be to the next hearing in October 13. Yes, Member Said, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I put forward motion for deferral of item 23 to be rescheduled for our next meeting on October 13.
Thank you. And may I have a seconder, please? Member Joanne, please go ahead.
I second.
All right, Member Joanne seconds the motion, and all in favor of this motion. The motion's carried, and the application for 54 FLERIMAC Road has been deferred, and I see that a neighbor had registered to speak, so I hope that the neighbor has heard this as well. So when the matter is brought back to committee next month, another notice will be provided in accordance with the Planning Act. Thank you very much. Are there more requests for deferral, Colin? I see none. Okay. All right, let's move on to vetting our agenda for items 18 to 26, which are on the afternoon session agenda. First item number 18, is for 513 Danforth Road. And I note that there are 2 speakers registered to speak on this application, so I will hold down this item and come back to it. So item 18 is being held for further discussion. Item number 19, 3693 Ellesmere Road, and we do not have registered speakers on this one. May I please have Janice Robinson as the agent? Okay, hello Janice, are you with us?
Madam Chairman, members of committee.
Thank-
Janice Robinson here.
Okay, thank you, Janice. Janice, we have your application before us today. Would you have any comments at this time?
Well, I can do a brief presentation or I can just answer questions. There's also 3695 Ellesmere Road, which is the next item, and they're just about the same application.
Okay, so we'll deal with those 2 separately. We are vetting the agenda, so if the committee has questions or they would like to see a presentation, we can always hold down the item and come back. But let's go to the committee members. Committee members, do you have any questions or would wish to see a presentation for item 19, 3693 Ellesmere Road? I don't see a request there for questions or a presentation. I just want to check if there were any conditions here. Yes, so for item 3693 Ellesmere Road, there are conditions of urban forestry, and are you aware of those conditions, Janice?
Yes, I'm aware of them and we are in agreement with them.
Okay, so committee members, if no questions, can I please have a motion? This is item 19, and there are conditions of urban forestry. Member Macaulay, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I propose approval of this variance application for 3695 Ellesmere Road. I note that it was a previous consent with variances for lot area and frontage. And now that we have some housing plans, they are asking for some variances regarding height and length and depth of the proposed dwelling.
Thank you very much, Member Macaulay.
Meets, in my opinion, all the requirements of a variance and is appropriate for development on this property. Therefore, I recommend approval.
And there are conditions of urban forestry?
Oh, I'm sorry, and there are conditions, subject to conditions of urban forestry.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to approve the application subject to conditions of urban forestry. Member Said, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The variances, 4 variances before the committee, they are minor in nature, appropriate, and Janice have acknowledged the conditions of urban forestry. I second the motion for approval subject to urban forestry condition number 2 and 3.
Thank you. And all in favor of this motion? The motion's carried unanimously, and the application has been approved subject to condition of urban forestry. Now moving to the next
Thank
item.
you.
Thank you, Janice. Item 20, Janice, once again, this is your application, address being 3695 Ellesmere Road, similar, pretty much the same situation, urban forestry conditions, and you've read those, and do you have any questions or concerns with the conditions?
No, accept the conditions.
Okay, and members of the committee, any questions, concerns? All right, I see none. Yes, Member Macaulay, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is almost identical to the previous application for variances. And again, it's to provide for a specific house and dwelling unit size. The variances are appropriate for this new lot, and I recommend approval, subject to conditions of urban forestry.
Thank you, Member Macaulay, and may I have a seconder, please? Member Gary, please go ahead.
Yes, I second that a motion to approve with conditions of urban forestry.
Thank you very much. And all in favor of this motion? The motion is carried unanimously and the application has been approved subject to urban forestry conditions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks. We now move on to the next application, item 21, which is for 1 GREYABBEY Trail. There are registered speakers on this list, so I will hold down this item and come back to it in the main body. So 1 GREYABBEY Trail, item 21, is being held for further discussion. Item 22, 100 Blaisdale Road. And there are no registered speakers. Members of the committee, any questions on this application? Member Joanne, would you like me to bring in, would you like me to
Yes,
bring in the
please.
applicant? Okay, all right.
If you want me to ask my question now, yes.
Sure, I will do that. So for item 22, can I please have the agent Silverio Fidalgo? Silverio? We see that you're there, but we're getting a lot of muffled noise.
Just a moment, please. Hello, is that better?
That is definitely better.
Okay.
So Silverio, we have your item before us, and one of the members has some questions for you. So Member Joanne, please go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you. I realize that there's only one variance, but with respect to other properties with comparable heights, and if the height variance is at all impacted by the profile.
Variance is due to that we would like more of a flat roof on the home versus a peaked roof. If we go with the peaked roof, then the height is higher. We're going with a flat roof, and therefore the bylaw states for a lower limit. So we're asking for the variance to maintain a flat roof over the new second-story addition.
Okay. So I was just wondering if there's, it's still 8.34. So is that common or lower than other flat roofed homes in the area, or just lower than peaked roof homes? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And while on that, Silverio, there is a component of the house that still has a taller roof height, right? I'm
sorry, I don't understand the question.
on the existing right elevation, I see the roof there. This would be 8202. My apologies. I didn't want to muddy the waters here, but it's just that particular roof there.
Oh,
Is
that's
that
okay.
is that an existing roof line?
Yes, this is the existing one-story home that is currently on the lot.
Oh, okay, all right. Sorry,
So we're going to demolish that
Yeah.
room. No problem.
All right, there are no further questions. Then can I please have a motion on this application? And I don't believe there are any conditions recommended. Member Said, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There is only one variance before us, and I'm okay with that. The applicant have given us the elaboration. I put forward motion for approval of this application, item number 22, and there are no conditions to that.
Okay, thank you. And may I have a seconder, please? Member Macaulay, please go ahead.
I will second that motion for approval.
And all in favor of this motion? The motion's carried unanimously, and the application has been approved for 100 Blaisdale Road, which is item 22. Thank you. Moving on to our next item on the agenda, item number 24. Item 20.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Item 24 is 519 Warden Avenue. And this is a combined consent and minor variance applications associated with it. I understand, members of the committee, do you have any questions? Member Joanne, yes, please?
I'd like to have some information from the applicant with respect to any lot analysis that's been done and can be offered to the committee as to the whether or not the size of the lots, because you're asking for undersized lots, whether or not they are represented in immediate neighborhood or broader neighborhood.
Okay, so Member Joanne, would you like me to hold down this item, or would you like me to bring in the applicant?
If there's no one to speak, otherwise to speak to it, he may be able to answer it quickly. I leave it in your hands, Chair, whichever you'd like to.
Okay, no, that's fair, that's reasonable. We'll bring in Peter Jarusek. There are no registered speaker, and perhaps if he's able to answer the questions during this session, during the vetting, we'll do that, otherwise we'll hold it. So Peter.
Good afternoon, committee. Yes, it's a very simple answer to this question. On this map of the zoning, there are 5 lots that are surrounded by commercial properties, and all the other, and behind us and to the south, all properties are comparable size and actually permit 50% coverage. There's only a line of 5 houses in that side of the street which is subject to this smaller severance. And the commercial properties that are just one door down from us permit 70% coverage. So in terms of the zoning, everything south of Butterworth on Warden is permitted 50% coverage. And directly behind our property, all the properties backing onto Scotia Avenue, those are all 50% coverage permitted. It's only the 5 lots here, which is from 525 to 517, which encompasses actually 5 lots. They're the only ones that have this weird zoning in that pocket that are based on another section just behind Milne Avenue that goes into a more traditional type of area. But directly around us, surrounding us, they're all smaller lots with larger permitted coverages of 50% or greater.
So just to be clear then, with respect to frontages, is the frontage representative?
Yes.
Frontage being requested representative, not just the coverage, but the frontage?
Right. South of Butterworth, if you look at the image
Yes.
on your screen,
Yes.
all those lots are similar to the lots we're proposing.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Member Joanne and Peter. Checking with committee, any questions on this? Okay, I see none. So Peter, this is a consent application, so of course there are associated conditions from urban forestry. There's a community planning staff report that it'd be tied to a site plan and drawing number SB. And then, of course, the ECS is asking for widening and draft plan, and transportation has no comments. Are you familiar with all these conditions?
Yes, we are. And we've adjusted the plans to reflect the road widening.
And you have no concerns with the conditions?
We do not.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
So excuse me, Chair, are we dealing with the applications all separately?
Yes, so we will, we're not dealing with
Okay.
it separately, we're dealing with it together, but we'll have to have a motion for each of the applications. So typically what we do is we do
No,
the
I
consent.
understand. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So typically we do deal with the consent application because that entails all the conditions, and then we do the associated minor variance applications together.
Okay.
Does that help you?
Okay, that's just a little, yeah, that's fine. It's just a little different than I'm used to, but that's fine.
Fair enough. Okay, all right. So on that note, if the committee members do not have further questions, can I please have a motion? And the conditions are all provided for you. Member Macaulay, please go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. And to my fellow members, if there is no issues, we sometimes deal with the consent and variance altogether because they are so interrelated. In this particular one, the applications are interrelated. They are, in my mind, the variances are appropriate given the size of the lots, which is what the consent is creating. Therefore, I propose approval of consent application B0074/21SC, subject to conditions of development engineering and urban forestry. I will proceed to deal with the variances.
Community planning.
The variances deal with community planning, do they not? I think. Let me.
Yes, yes, you're right.
Recommend approval of the variances A391/21SC and A392/21SC. And they are subject to condition of community planning that they build in accordance with the application of the site plan as shown on our files. I've got a page 550 and 552. But they suggest that the variances be tied to the condition that they are built according, substantially in accordance with the variances shown.
Thank you, Member Macaulay, and I request for a seconder, but I would remind that you don't have to repeat the whole thing just because we don't want to be different from the proposed motion. Member Joanne, please go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify something. My notes say that forestry condition number 3 for each of the variances. Then if my colleague agrees, I wondered if they would amend their motion to just reflect that.
Thank you, Madam.
So I would second the motion.
Thank you. I'm amenable to that amendment. Thank you for pointing it out to us. I'm not sure that I have to go through the whole thing. We'll just add the condition for community forestry to the variances.
Correct.
Thanks. So I second that then, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Joanne, and all in favor of this motion? The motion's carried and the applications have been approved subject to their respective conditions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 25 is a consent application only for 438 Pharmacy Avenue. It was a lapsed consent approval from 2015, and it has been brought back to the committee for approval. So once again, we have Peter as the agent on this application. Peter, do you
Hello, committee.
Yeah, do you wish to provide a comment, or how would you like to proceed?
Yeah, just to provide a comment. The houses are built, and unfortunately had a little bit of a fire in one of them, so he's delayed in terms of selling them. And now that he got to the point to put it onto the market or move in, he realized that he cannot register them as his lawyer forgot to provide that within the 2-year mark. So that's why we're before the committee now. But both dwellings have been built and are ready to be occupied pending the reseverance of the lot.
Thank you very much, Peter, for doing that. Members of the committee, any questions? There are no conditions here. Member Gary, please go ahead.
Yes, we understand that it's a fresh application for consent to sever. So Peter, I'm just wondering if we need to add as a condition, subject to standard conditions of approval, just to pick up any requirements for reference plan, and that all must be done because the houses are built. But so just really querying what conditions, if any, should be attached to this severance.
Thank you, Colin, for that. Member Gary?
Yes, thank you for that. That's fine.
Okay, so that was a motion on the floor to approve the application. And,
Well, that, Chair. So
sorry,
then, I'll move that we go with the approval of item 25, which is consent application B0021/22 SC for Scarborough. Right, and I'll just leave it there. Move approval of that consent.
okay, Member Joanne?
I'll second that, as staff said, subject.
Is item 26, which is 74 Westbourne Avenue. And members of the committee, you have questions on this one? Member Joanne, please go ahead.
I do, but I don't know if you, is there any speakers on this one, Madam Chair?
Member Joanne, no, we do not have any speakers, but I can invite the applicant and perhaps we can deal with it if it's okay with you.
If I can ask my question, if you're content for me
Sure.
to do that at this point?
Sure, we can do
Okay,
that. And
thank you.
it's probably more efficient that way. So can I please have Ida Evangelista? Ida?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Ida Evangelista on behalf of the owners of 74 Westbourne.
Thank you very much, Ida. Member Joanne has some questions for you. Member Joanne, please go ahead.
Yes,
Good afternoon, Ida. How are you today?
I'm good, Member Joanne.
So I'm just going to have a few couple questions for you, and you've probably heard them from me in other applications. First of all, thank you very much for all the pictures and drawings that you've submitted with the application. It's very helpful. The one question I have is the size of the lots in relation to what you're requesting, and that and is it your submission that the size of the lots that you are requesting here and the companion variances are represented in those pictures? Because we don't have any numbers associated with those pictures. We just have the pictures.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair, Member Joanne. Yes, moving forward in this area is changing, and the prevailing pattern is lot sizes of 762. I can give you a sprinkling, 31, 39, 40, 57, 59, 70, 101. Those are on Westbourne, and those are 7.62. And then along with those, all the photographs, and the photographs, I will add that the photographs that I provided is literally just a sprinkling. This area, Westbourne, Maybourne, Bexhill, Pitt, this area is changing, and you'll see the lot pattern that I provided at the end of my submission. You'll see that majority, actually a good percentage of this neighborhood is now changing to lot frontages of 7.62. So what we're proposing is indicative of what is here right now. That is the prevailing character, the prevailing nature of this area with lot frontages, lot areas. A lot of the lot areas that were severed are 241.6. For example, 59 Westbourne, the lot area is 241.6. 70 Westbourne, 244.60. So, and we are asking for a lot area of 245. So we are within, again, the character of the neighborhood, the prevailing pattern of the neighborhood.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Including lot coverage and height. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Is there any follow-up question, Member Joanne? Okay, thank you. Member Macaulay, please go ahead.
I have a quick question. And if the applicant could answer, you're asking for a coverage of 44.4% versus 35%. Can you identify other lots in the area that are at 44% coverage?
Yes, I could. We have 101 Westbourne, that's a 46%. We have 103 Westbourne, which is just shy of 44%. We have Maybourne at 43%, Bexhill at 43%, 57 Westbourne at 43%. Actually, it's just shy of 44%, and same with 39 Westbourne, just shy of 44%.
Okay, thank you. I apologize for the telephone ringing in the midst of all of this. The 44%, I don't have all my information here. The 44% is for both lots, including the corner lot?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all the questions I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Macaulay. I don't see other show of hands here, so I just want to remind everyone we were vetting the agenda, so I would have to cut it at this point. So now if we are... okay.
And Madam Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
I will add that we did receive 8 letters of support surrounding 74, like 72, 75, 78, 92 Westbourne, and 78 A and B Pitt, and 77 Maybourne, which is directly behind us. They have spoken to the owner, reviewed the plans, are in support, and did sign letters of support. Unfortunately, they did come in after submission date, and however, they are available on AIC.
Thank you very much for that, Ida. And while I have you, you are familiar with all the conditions of urban forestry and engineering services, and of course the standard conditions of consent. Do you have any concerns or questions on those conditions?
We are aware of all the conditions, and we are amenable to the conditions being imposed for forestry and ECS.
Okay, thank you very much. Members of the committee, can I please have a motion? Member Said, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we discussed, although the lot size in terms of frontage and lot area coverage, seems to be undersized, but still the patronage do existing in the area, so we are okay with that. Madam Chair, I will move the motion for approval of consent application B0071/21SC, subject to the standard conditions of consent, engineering services conditions, and urban forestry condition 1, condition 2, and condition 3.
Thank you, Member Said. Can I please have a motion? Oh, sorry, can I please have a seconder? Member Gary, please go ahead.
Yes, I second that motion to approve with those applicable conditions. Here.
And all in favor of this motion? The motion's carried unanimously, and the application for 74 Westbourne Avenue has been approved with conditions. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that brings us to the end of our agenda for vetting. Now I will recap the items that have been held. And we have held item number 18 and item number 21. So 2 items have been held in the afternoon session. So let's go to our first item that was held, and that is item number 18 for 513 Danforth Road. And can I please have the agent Imran Khan, please? Imran, are you with us?
Hello.
Hi there. Yes, I can hear you now. So,
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
So Imran, we have your application before us for the minor variance, and we have some speakers as well registered to speak. Would you like to make a presentation, or would you rather go straight to questions?
I like to go for presentation.
Oh, you'd like to do a presentation? Okay. So you can present. You have 5 minutes, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon. This is Imran Khan. I'm the applicant on behalf of the owner, and my address is 1906 Parkside Drive, Pickering, L1, V3, and 5. This proposal has 6 variances, and these are very straightforward. We are proposing a second-story addition to the existing bungalow, and mostly we have this second floor on top of the ground floor from the front side, also side, and at the back side we extended to the rear yard garage that is now currently detached garage. But while we are attaching with the rear side garage, now this building length came up to 19.41 meter, but basically we are proposing the second floor 16.5 meter. That is less than the maximum permitted 17 meter, but as long as it is attached with rear side garage, so it's became 19.41 meter. Sorry, that is become 20.42 meter, adding up the garage width. This is our fourth variance that building length is getting more than the maximum permitted 7 meter, 20.42 meter. But this is not our second floor itself. Second floor is only 16.5 meter. It's while adding up the rear side garage, it is getting bigger and passing the maximum permitted 7 meter. This is number 4. And another one, that is the front yard setback. This is the first variance. We can have minimum front yard setback from the center line of DANFORTH Road, 22 meter. We have now 19.41 meter. That is also existing building setback from the center line of the DANFORTH Road. We are just proposing the second floor aligned with the front main wall of the existing bungalow. So this is the same existing setback we are keeping for the second floor also. And same way for the side yard setback, this is the second variance. The maximum permitted 4.5 meter, sorry, minimum permitted 4.5 meter. So we are going for 3.95 meter. That is also not complying with the zoning item. This side yard setback. This is also the same way we are adding the second floor on top of the ground floor, aligned with the ground floor side yard main wall. And the third one is the coverage. It's very minor. We are proposing only 2.2% more than the permitted 33%. Our one is 33.2%. And the last one, fifth variance, that is also rear yard setback. That is the same the way I described for the number 4 variance, building length. This is also our second edition has the setback that is 9.02 meter from the rear yard line, rear lot line. But while we are attaching this second floor addition to the rear yard garage, detached garage, existing garage, then this the setback of the existing garage is considered the rear yard setback. So it came after we attached the garage with our second floor addition. So these are the 5 variances, and the last one is the bay window. That is also very minor. 75% can encroach. We are proposing 65%. So it's these 6. In our opinion, these 6 variances are very minor, and as we followed the existing building in our second floor addition, mostly these variances came up with. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Imran, sorry, can you tell me why you need the 6th variance for the bay window? It says you meet the percentage.
This basement.
The
Just I
bay
missed the
window, the
question.
projection, the setbacks for the projections. The proposed window encroaches 0.64 and is less than 65, whereas the bylaw requires that it be a maximum of 0.75 and not more than 65.
Yeah, that one, we proposed the bay window for the ground floor, and also for the second floor, we are just adding the bay window.
Okay, it's probably, okay, maybe it's because it has a footing and
It's
it
not in the
touches the
basement.
ground.
Yeah, it's only the footing, yeah.
Okay, it's a footing that's triggering it, although you're within the numbers, but it's the footing, okay. All right, fair enough.
Yeah,
So most of these variances are as a result of the existing single-story house on the property, correct?
yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right, members of the committee, you have questions for Imran? Member Joanne, please go ahead.
Just a quick one. There's a secondary suite in the basement?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
proposed, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. That's it from the panel members? Okay, so thank you, Imran, for the presentation and the explanation. Now we'll go to our neighbors. So the first neighbor who has registered to speak is Rahil Yemene. Rahil, are you with us? He's not. Is Shulamit Yemene with us? Okay. Hello, Shulamit.
Hi, thank you for letting me speak here. I guess this is I'm not sure if this is the where I would ask these questions. So the concerns that I had were mostly related to the duration of the construction and how and whether the roads will be kept clean and unobstructed and the noise and disturbances kept to a minimum. My concerns were of that nature and whether this is the time to ask those questions. And in terms of the boundaries and whether they encroach on the next door house, which is my where my concerns lie with, is I haven't been able to retrieve the title documents that outline the boundary information. So I'm still in the process of retrieving that, just so that I can compare them with the information that was submitted with the application. So
Sure.
I apologize for not having that information.
No.
So those are some of the concerns that I had.
So unfortunately, we can't help you with your construction questions or timing of construction and how the construction will be managed. Those are not matters that the committee deals with. The property survey, again, it's not something that the committee deals with. Once the applicant applies for a building permit, those will be confirmed at that stage as to the exactness and the correctness, accuracy of the property line. If you have concerns, that's, as you mentioned, you are already pulling that information out from land title, and so that's again something that we can help you with here.
Okay.
Okay, and encroachment, I'm not sure which encroachment you're referring to. I don't think there's any encroachment on your property as a result of this application.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the height requirement as well. I mean, I understand that the height will be a little bit, they're asking for variance, for permission to have the height a little higher than the minimum requirement. So, those are the general concerns that I wanted to address. But if this is not where we would address questions, I guess.
So no, the height question is definitely one that I can help you with, but on this variance application, there is no variance required for height, which means that with that second story addition, they will meet the requirements of the permitted height on the property. So yes, at this point, because it's a bungalow, it's a single story building, and it is going to a second story. So yes, there will be a change in the height because now it's going to a second story, but 2 stories are permitted, and it appears that they will meet the requirement of the 2-story house through this application.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much. Can we have Imran back, please?
Hello.
Hi, Imran. So you heard the residents. Most of the questions were related to construction, which this is not the forum to talk about. Is there anything at this point that you would like to say?
Actually, the construction will be happened, whatever the neighbors' opinion during that time. If anything, they don't, they have comments or they have some issues, absolutely that will be taken care of the owner. I will talk to him and let him know the neighbors' opinion, whatever I heard today.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Members of the committee, any questions for Imran before we take the matter into committee? I see none. All right, Imran, thank you very much for explaining your application and the neighbor to come out and speak with us. Members of the committee, any
Thank you very much.
thoughts, any concerns, any questions? Member Joanne, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think what's being proposed here is reasonable. Many of the variances being requested relate to existing conditions that are have to be reauthorized with respect to the addition of the second story. I think that this is a application that can be supported, and if my colleagues have no additional comments, I'm prepared to move a motion.
Member Joanne, can we just quickly check with the applicant if they have any issues with the urban forestry conditions?
Sure.
Okay. Imran, have you received a copy of the urban forestry condition, and do you have any concerns with that?
Yeah, I received, and we are okay. We have to apply for a tree injury and removal permit if we require anything to do with this. Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you very much, Member Joanne. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. For the reasons noted, I'd like to move a motion to approve this application, as I believe that the variances being requested do meet the 4 tests under the Act. I would like to make it subject to the condition of urban forestry number 2, and out of an abundance of caution with respect to the length variance, I would like to tie the approval to the proposed south elevation so that it's very clear that the length variances only apply as illustrated and not to the full structure. That would be my motion.
Okay, if I can suggest a friendly amendment, I believe, Member Joanne, that the condition of urban forestry is urban forestry condition number 1.
Sorry, I had it noted as number 2, my mistake. That's fine.
Okay. May I have a seconder for the motion, please? Member Said, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I second the motion subject to the conditions as stated in the motion.
Okay, and all in favor of this motion? Motion's carried unanimously, and the application has been approved subject to condition of urban forestry. Okay, moving to our next item that was held. This is 1 GREYABBEY Trail, item 21. And can I please have the agent, Karnal Jayani? Hello, Karnal?
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good morning, Madam Chair and committee members.
Good
afternoon.
Good afternoon, Karnal. I know time flies. So would you like to make a presentation on your application?
Yeah, I would like to.
Okay, all right. So Karnal, you have 5 minutes, and please go ahead.
Okay, so we are applying for 2 variances, FSI, which is only 0.07 times more than permitted, and the other is in front yard setback, which is not actually a variance because the house is existing and we are just proposing the other side in the same line of existing, like we are aligning that one. I would like to mention that about the objection from 3 GREYABBEY's owner, Tramla. We are proposing 2-story, which is allowed as per bylaws, and also we are not digging the side which he is concerned about for the foundation. We are just doing addition on the second floor, and Also, if there is any city engineering issues, we will definitely consider it. Also, the owner of GREYABBEY gave an effort to talk to neighbors and got enough of support signatures. So I would like to request committee to consider these variances are minor in nature and humbly request to approve these variances. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kronal. Members of the committee, do you have any questions for Kronal? Okay, I see none. Okay, we can now move on to speaking with our registered neighbors here. So the first neighbor on the list is Wilma Snellgrove. She's not there? Okay, so staff has checked and Wilma, sorry? Staff have checked and Wilma Snellgrove is not online. The next neighbor is Tram Law. Okay, hello, Tram.
Yes, hi.
Hi there, Tram. You registered to speak with us and let us know what your concerns are. So you have 5 minutes and please go ahead.
Yes, hi. Good afternoon. I actually I wrote everything. My concern is on my email, so I sent it, and you know, it's like from the second floor, from balcony, from the back, which is our deck from the back. You know, if they have the balcony from the second floor, which is I'm concerned about my privacy, because from second floor balcony, so it could be it's like my privacy from the backyard, and which is our neighbors from the number 7 GREYABBEY, which is they have the swimming pool from the back, and I just feel like that's like lose our privacy, and their front yard from the number 1 GREYABBEY, their front yard, there's a big tree which is over 25 years maple leaf, so I'm concerned about the nature of the tree also.
Okay, all right. Are these your only concerns, Tram?
Yes, and also, you know, I just everything is on my email, so I just like I hope that company will take a look at my email, which is I have sent.
Yes, yes, we certainly have that on our file and on the agenda as well. So we have received it and read it as well. Thank you. Okay, committee members, any questions for Tram? I see none, all right. So let's go back to Kronal. Kronal, you heard the comments from Tram. How would you like to respond to those, please?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so I heard those all, but that is not the variances, and whatever the privacy issue they have, we will consider that one and we'll take care of that.
Okay. All right. So, members of the committee, do you have any concerns or questions at this time? Member Gary, please go ahead.
I just wanted to check with the applicant. It's my understanding, is this an existing situation? The front yard setback, what's being proposed is 7.83 meters, and the permitted was just a little over 9. But is that an existing situation? And then are you like building a second addition on the first the house?
Yes, yes, we are doing that.
Okay, so that's an existing. Sorry, that's an existing setback. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Member Gary. If there are no further questions, I would like to take the matter into committee. Before I go, Kronal, you are aware of the urban forestry conditions as well, right?
Madam Chair, yeah.
Sorry?
Yes, yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, all right, I couldn't hear you clearly. Okay, all right, committee members, any thoughts, any comments? Or are we good with a motion at this time? Member Joanne, please go ahead.
Thank you. I think what's being proposed here is reasonable. The front yard setback is existing. The maximum floor area increase above what's permitted is indeed minor. If my colleagues have no further comment, I'd be prepared to move a motion to approve the application, subject to forestry condition number 2. But in addition to that, to address the concerns of the neighbor, which I believe have some validity, I would like to impose a condition that the open side of the rear balcony on the second story, there's no direction, well, arrows on the plan, so I can't say which direction it is, have privacy screening to a minimum of 1.5 meters.
Just want to check one thing. This is is there a variance for that fence, Member Joanne?
No, there's not a
Variance.
a variance for the balcony.
Okay.
But I think we can still impose a condition with respect to screening related to the overall impact of what's being proposed. That
Okay.
would be my thought.
Okay, all right. Committee members? Any thoughts, committee members? So while the committee members are thinking, perhaps I could do the north or the compass arrow, so that would be north, south, east, west. The western.
I didn't see anything on the plan.
Yeah, no, I looked at the location map, checked out the north, south.
Okay.
And then, so that would be, so the balcony is on the west side. So you're looking at the north and south sides. Which sides are you recommending that the?
It's just the one side is tucked, Madam Chair, one side is tucked in and there's a wall. It's only the side towards the side of the house that is open.
Okay, so you have to help me out here. So on the plan, the top
Sorry.
one or the
Okay,
bottom?
so if you look at the proposed rear elevation, I'm looking at the second story balcony
This balcony right on,
at the rear.
yeah, right there.
At the rear.
Yes.
Yeah, so the proposed, no, the next, yes, that one. So it's only open on the one side, the other has a wall. So there's no concern of overlook there. So it's only on the side closest to the side wall of the house.
Okay, so I just need some help
Is that
here with
west?
compass direction. So Eric, can you go back to the site plan, please? So there you go. So north, south, east, west. So the western facade has the balcony. Now, are you looking at the north side or the south side here? The one that's at an angle or one that's at kind of straight?
Okay, just a second. The rear second story terrace. There's only one rear terrace.
Yes.
On the second story.
Yes.
So that one and the side and the open side. So is that the north?
Staff, can you help us out, please?
Through the chair, I think, just to make sure we get this correct, I'm going to ask Eric just to highlight or circle the area, just to make sure we've got this. Okay. And please, through the chair, if Member Hayes can confirm that we have this correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you point out, but she's saying the one on the second floor, not on the ground floor, the one on the second floor, so, right?
The rear, yes, second floor rear.
Yes, second floor. So second floor plan, please.
You go to the rear elevation?
Just wait. We're not going to go to the elevation, Joanne, because that confuses us,
Okay.
right? So we're going to go
That's
to the
fine.
floor plan here. Right there, right there. Yeah, zoom in, yeah. Right there, that balcony there that's flushed with the wall at the back, right?
Yes,
Okay,
off the prayer room, yes.
excellent. Off the prayer room, that's the balcony we were talking about. Now, which side are you looking at? The
Yes.
longer or the shorter side? The shorter
The
side,
one
right?
that's, the one, yes, the one that's set back from the side wall, because the other side of the balcony already is, it's right against the brick wall. So there's only one exposed side of the balcony.
Yes, so this would be the south side then,
Yes, okay, thank you.
okay? But we have captured it sort of visually as well. So if there is any conflicts, then we can always confirm that, right?
So through the chair, just to
I wish
clarify,
everybody would put directions on all their plans.
Right.
through the chair, I just want to understand, I just want to make sure we have the wording of that condition correctly.
So privacy screening to a minimum of 1.5 meters.
The owner shall install privacy screening along the south side of the second floor rear balcony to a maximum height of 1.5 meters.
Minimum.
Minimum, sorry.
To a minimum
Solid screening.
height of
Okay.
1.5.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So, committee members, we have a motion on the floor to approve the application, subject to the condition that was just read out. I don't want to repeat it in case there's any conflict. May I have a seconder, please? Member Gary, please go ahead.
Yes, I'll second that for approval as stated.
Okay, and all in favor of this motion? The motion's carried and the application has been approved subject to the conditions as noted. Thank you very much. And that brings us to the end of the agenda for today. I don't think we have any more items left.
Through the chair, just at the end of the agenda, just for information, we have received, since the last hearing in August, we have received 2 TLAB appeals, one for 215 GREYABBEY Trail for the minor variance application, which was refused by committee and appealed by the applicant. The second appeal we have received is for 5 Chalice Court minor variance application, which was approved by committee and appealed by the neighbor. We have also, the TLAB has issued 2 decisions since the last hearing. The first one is for 32 Lamont Avenue minor variance application, which was originally refused by committee and appealed by the owner. The appeal was dismissed and the decision from the committee is confirmed. The second decision, TLAB decision, is for 812 Meadowvale Road minor variance application. Originally refused by committee and appealed by the owner. The appeal was dismissed and the decision from the committee is confirmed.
Thank you. Any other business?
Through the chair, there is none.
Thank you. Members of the panel, any other business you wish to discuss? Okay. All right. So that brings us to the end and see you in October on October 13th. Next time. Meeting is adjourned now.
Thank you
Have a
very
good day,
much.
everyone.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks very much for having me.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much,
Jan.
Member
Thank
Joanne,
you
for
for your
joining
help.
us today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.